Hello folks, I'm John Brock and today I would like to talk about something which I was struggling to understand when I first started my career. So we were using some outer joins, but time to time that outer joins, when I try to filter data, actually returning an incomplete data. A friend of mine was explaining it to me like when you use filter, actually it returns into an inner join, but that was not really clear to me. So after some time, of course, I understand, and I would like to also explain that why that happens, because in my opinion SQL is the easy to learn but hard to master language, and sometimes new joiners or the less experienced software developers can fall into traps of SQL. Hence, I would like to show one tip or one caveat that can block you time to time. So in that video we will use sample data which I created. So I created a fictional company data which is located in Berlin, and it is doing some trades, so that's why it has some warehouses and some operational offices also in Hamburg. So we have that departments. Also we have the employees that are working in that departments, and as you may see there's no IT department or IT employee, because I thought it's not necessary in a company that is quite small. And the data and all the SQL queries that I will use in this video can be found on my GitHub repository, in the YouTube examples GitHub repository. And first of all, let's talk about the outer joins shortly or briefly, and I will only explain left outer join because this video is not a SQL lecture, so I will keep the details out of the video. So left outer join, we use it for combining two tables or two tables data, where we need full data from one table. In our example here, it's the departments table, so we want all the departments even if they have the employee or not. And also we would like to see the employees that are in the departments. And for example, if there's a department with no employee, in our sample data it's the IT department, it will show up, but all the other columns we have in the query will be null. Okay, what we try to achieve is get the list of departments with all the employees inside, which are not the highest level of employees. So we want the list of departments and all the employees working in that departments, excluding CEO. So excluding the person who has no manager, we would like to see all the departments and their employees. So I created the sample data already in a SQLite database. Let's have a look into that database. So yeah, I created a demo.db and I created all the required tables and the employees, and then I created some queries here. So I didn't want to lose so much time, and I created the queries already. So what we are looking for, so we want the list of departments, so that's why I put the departments in the from. Then I left joined it to the employees table, depending on the department's ID to the employees department ID. This will show me a list of departments and their employees. Let's run this one to get the result. Here we can see that for example, sales department has 2 employees, IT department has no employee, and HR has 1 employee, etc. And what we were looking for was all the employees, all the departments and their employees without the CEO. So in our case, it's the HR is our CEO. They don't have any managers, so let's filter that person. So we want employees with the manager IDs, not null. When I run this code, so when I use a where filter, where condition after that base query, I got a missing data. I got some missing data points, so I cannot see IT anymore, and I cannot see also the HR department, even though we have those departments, they are missing in the list. And that's actually because of the order SQL runs, or I can say the logical order, because the physical order is changed depending on the database vendor, but the logical order actually stays the same. And let's look into that order. Again, I will only keep it simple, so I will not talk about where group by, order by, or having goes. So how a database works is, it first of all finds the data. So it looks into the from condition and it searches for the tables, data in the tables. Then if there's a join condition, it joins the data, and after the whole data set is ready, then it applies the filter. So it applies the where condition, and after all it selects the columns from that filtered data set. Let's go back to our DB word, our data, and continue with the examples again. So here is the first part of the order. So it is the select or the from part, and as I said, it creates a whole data set. So after that, if we apply the where condition, and our where condition is on the manager ID column, which is not null, it will drop these two rows. So even though we are using an outer join and we should see the whole departments, it will drop, or it will filter out these two lines, two rows, because of the manager ID filter. What we can do is, actually we can move that filter into the join or into the from clause, so it will run in a different order, I can say. So in that case, we can see that departments still, maybe I can show the difference again. If we can look into the HR, now it's all null, but without the condition, actually we have an HR employee, which is Ahmad Do. And how this changes, so this is, as I said, depending on the order, and what it does, it actually first filters out the data depending on the manager ID, and then creates the join. So going back to the data, maybe it will be easier to see. So what it does, it is filtering out that Ahmet Do from the employees set, then gets the whole departments and does the join on that two data sets. So we actually effectively move to filter an earlier step where the database first reads the data. Yeah, this is how it is done in the ANSI SQL. So you put the filter inside the join or inside the from clause, and you get the data you want. So we can see all 5 departments here, and we can see all the employees from that departments who has a manager. And also I would like to show it in an Oracle database, because well, I have an extensive experience on Oracle databases, and Oracle has an implicit outer join syntax, and I would like to show this also in that part. And in the early years of my career, I always used Oracle databases, and with that implicit join syntax, actually it's a bit harder to understand the point, because when you are doing an implicit join in Oracle, you are actually writing everything in the where, and you do not write join on in the from clause, and it makes it harder to read actually for the new starters. Let's run both queries to see the difference. So we run both queries, and here we have an outer join that is designated by that plus operator in the Oracle. So it means that we are having a left outer join, so we should see all the departments. But unfortunately, again, when we have that filter here, it returns only the sum of the departments who has the correct employees. The solution here is to put that implicit join operator also into the filter, so make the filter outer, or that's what my friend or my mentor was calling it, so explicitly stating that this is an outer join and this filter should be applied into the from clause level, and that's how you get the data. And you can see the difference here. So this is the result of the second query and this is the result of the first query. Here is the difference. So that's all from my side for today. It was, as I said, for some time hard to understand for me until I learned more about how databases work, how they run the query in the background, how do they optimize the queries. So as I said, SQL is very easy to learn and a bit hard to master, and in this channel I will try to provide more tips and tricks about the SQL in the upcoming days. Maybe one smaller note, I can share the link also in the description of this video. So this is the live SQL from Oracle. It's the livesql.oracle.com, where you can play around with the Oracle databases with limited resources, of course, and it's nice to know. Yeah, that's all for today, folks, and see you in the next video with more SQL tips.